mountain 3 miles, harnessed up and go sliding across a cable about 400 feet across a canyon.
Dakota Fred Hurt, a fearless legend in gold mining, faced a battle he couldn't win, one that stole his fire and, in the end, his life. The loss of his wife Lorraine in 2015 shattered him, yet he pushed forward, searching for purpose. Then a cruel twist, an unstoppable brain tumor, robbed him of his strength. Tune in, because what happened next shook the gold rush world to its core. A miner's toughest fight. Fred wasn't born into gold mining. He grew up in the wide-open spaces of Minot, North Dakota, where he spent his childhood exploring, fishing, and probably dreaming of adventure. His life took him in unexpected directions, from the waters of the Gulf of Mexico to the construction world, before finally landing him in the unpredictable, high-risk world of gold mining. And let's be real, he was good at it, not just because he had the skills, but because he had the kind of stubborn determination that didn't let him quit. But there was one thing Fred never saw coming, one challenge buried deeper than any gold he had ever chased, one that would change everything. When he joined Gold Rush, he wasn't just another guy digging in the dirt.
These chains are in there. They'll hold these two rocks together. Hopefully, this will hold that from falling. I'd say it's about 75% safe now.
He brought an energy to the show that made people sit up and take notice. Whether he was butting heads with other miners or taking on seemingly impossible tasks, he always gave it everything he had. It was that drive that eventually led to his own spin-off series, Gold Rush Whitewater, where he and his son Dustin tackled the dangerous, fast-moving waters of Alaska in search of gold. Even as he got older, he refused to slow down, proving that age was just a number. But life has a way of throwing even the toughest people into battles they can't fight with brute force alone. Behind the cameras, behind the dramatic mining operations, Fred was dealing with something much bigger than gold. His personal life had its share of ups and downs, but nothing could have prepared him for the loss of his second wife, Lorraine, in the year 2015. She had been a constant presence in his life, and when she passed, it was a blow that shook him to his core. But true to form, he didn't stop. He kept going, kept working, kept chasing the dream, because that's just the kind of person he was. Then came the diagnosis, the one thing even Fred Hurt couldn't outwork: a brain tumor. It hit hard, taking away the strength he had relied on for so many years. The man who had spent his life battling against nature, against the odds, now found himself fighting something he couldn't see, something he couldn't fix with a new strategy or sheer willpower. It was a cruel twist of fate for someone who had spent his whole life pushing through obstacles. Despite the devastating news, he handled it the way he handled everything, with grit. But the symptoms were relentless. Headaches, vision problems, dizziness, even seizures. The treatments, surgery, radiation, did little to slow it down.
Fred truly believed that your job after you die is to help your loved ones. That's what he believed. And he loved us. So.
Oh, man.
I hope so.
He faced it with the same determination he'd shown on every mining expedition. But this wasn't a battle he could win with sheer toughness alone. His family was there for him, especially his son Dustin, who stepped up in ways that showed just how much their bond meant. They weren't just mining partners anymore. They were a father and son trying to make the most of the time they had left. The mining community, the Gold Rush fan base, everyone who had followed his journey reached out in support, trying to lift his spirits, to remind him just how much he meant to people. Fundraisers, messages, visits. People wanted him to know that he wasn't alone in this fight. But the truth was, the fight was brutal. The disease took more and more from him as time went on. By the summer of the year 2023, his body had taken all it could handle. On July 12th, Fred Hurt passed away, leaving behind a legacy that was so much bigger than just the gold he had pulled from the earth. His death left a hole in the gold rush world, but even more than that, it made people stop and think about how unpredictable life is, about how even the strongest people can be brought to their knees by something they never saw coming. and about how, in the end, it's not the gold or the fame that really matters. It's the people you share the journey with. Fred Hurt wasn't just a miner. He was a fighter, a leader, and a man who knew what hard work really meant. He grew up in a place where winters were long, and you had to be tough just to get through the season. From an early age, he understood that nothing came easy. That work ethic stuck with him throughout his life, carrying him from the cold plains of North Dakota to the depths of the Gulf of Mexico, where he worked as a commercial diver. That job wasn't for the faint of heart. It meant working in extreme conditions, facing the unpredictable dangers of the ocean, and learning how to stay calm under pressure. The lessons he learned as a diver served him well when he moved into the world of construction. Building structures, working with heavy equipment, managing teams, he gained the skills that would later help him in gold mining. And when he finally made the transition into mining, it was as if everything he had done before had been leading him to that point. He wasn't just some guy with a pan looking for gold. He understood how to work the land, how to handle equipment, how to problem solve under extreme pressure. That's what made him stand out on Gold Rush. He wasn't just about the gold. He was about the work, the challenge, the process. He wanted to dig deeper, push harder, take risks that other miners wouldn't take. That's what led to Gold Rush. White water, mining in raging rivers, dealing with freezing temperatures, risking everything for the hope of striking it big. It was dangerous, but that's what made it worth it for him. Even as he got older, Fred refused to step back. He was in his 70s, still out there in the harsh conditions, still chasing the dream. But time catches up with everyone, even the toughest among us. When his health started to decline, he faced it with the same resilience he had shown in every other part of his life. He fought until he couldn't fight anymore. Gold mining isn't just about digging. Next up, meet the young man who turned childhood lessons into an empire. More than just dirt. Parker Schnabel is not just another guy digging in the dirt. He is the real deal when it comes to striking gold. Way up in the freezing Yukon, where the wind howls like it has secrets to spill, this man has been chasing gold since he was a child. And let us be honest, it is not just about shiny rocks. It is about the hustle, the grind, and, of course, the money. Born in the middle of nowhere, Haines, Alaska, back in the summer of 1994, he grew up with gold fever running through his veins. His grandfather, John Schnabel, was a legend in the mining world, and he soaked up everything he could from him. By the time he reached 16, he was not just dreaming about gold, he was out there digging for it, taking over the family operation in Porcupine Creek. Fast forward a bit, and he finds himself in the middle of a hit television show. Gold Rush. It turns out people love watching a scrappy teenager outsmart seasoned miners, and he never disappointed. While others were complaining about broken equipment, he was out there making moves, turning dirt into dollars. His strategy was simple: work harder, work smarter, and never take no for an answer. And the payoff? Well, let us just say this guy is not counting pennies. Unofficial reports put his net worth at somewhere around $8 million. But let us be real, he has probably got more gold tucked away than anyone really knows. These miners do not exactly run around broadcasting their earnings. Gold mining is cutthroat, and he knows better than to reveal all his secrets. But sitting on a pile of gold is not enough for him. Every season, he is out there pushing limits, looking for new ground to break. He does not stick to the easy path, and that is what keeps him ahead of the game. Back in the year 2010, when most kids his age were worrying about prom, he was signing his first major mining deal.
But this season, I'm prepared to throw everything we made last year into it, but that means, obviously, we need better ground.
With a small crew and a big dream, he took on the Alaskan wilderness and proved he was not just playing in the dirt, he was in it to win it. What sets him apart from the rest? It is not just his knack for finding gold. It is his mind. He is not just moving rocks, he is running a business. While other miners rely on old school tricks, he has a talent for spotting opportunities where others see dead ends. He has turned mining into an art form, mixing strategy with instinct to stay ahead in a game where one wrong move can mean disaster. But it is not all about gold. This man has his hands in a bunch of different industries. He has a jewelry company that turns raw gold into high-end pieces because, why not? People love the idea of wearing a piece of the wild. He also has a clothing line geared toward adventure lovers. Tough, rugged gear for people who like to get their hands dirty. It is a smart move. He is not just mining gold, he is branding it. And let us talk about risk. Most people run from it, but he thrives on it. He started out as a teenager in an industry dominated by experienced veterans, and now he has his own empire. He has made plenty of mistakes along the way. But instead of letting them set him back, he figures out how to turn them into wins. That is what separates the big players from the amateurs. Of course, none of this would have been possible without his grandfather. John Schnabel was the kind of man who did not just teach him how to mine, he taught him how to think. When John passed away in the year 2016, it was a huge loss, but he did not let it slow him down. If anything, it fueled him to keep the family legacy alive. And let us not forget, gold mining is not exactly great for the environment, but he is not blind to that. He is committed to responsible mining, making sure his operations are not leaving a total mess behind. He is invested in things like land reclamation and water conservation, which is not just good for the planet, it is good for business.
Right now we're just pumping out the pontoons that we can get at. We still have too much water to get at the pontoons that are keeping us down, so we're just trying to help lighten the load, get rid of some weight so we can get that dredge floating again.
Being the guy who does not wreck everything in his path is a smart move. He is also big on giving back. He is not just writing checks to charities for show, he actually gets involved. He is a hands-on kind of man, whether it is supporting local communities or helping out miners who are just getting started. And even with all the fame and fortune, he stays surprisingly down to earth. No flashy attitude, no ego trips, just a man who loves the grind and respects the work. Speaking of wealth, he knows how to spend it. He owns a couple of solid properties, one in Alaska and another in the Yukon. This is not just some cabin in the woods. These are 3-bedroom homes with breathtaking mountain views and all the comforts of a modern lifestyle. And when he is not at home, he is probably out exploring. The man loves to travel, whether it is Australia, New Zealand, or wherever gold takes him next. And yes, he has the vehicles to match his success. His car collection is not just for show, it is built for action. A Ford Raptor? Absolutely. A Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon? Of course. A Jeep Wrangler for off-road adventures? No doubt. But it is not just about having cool rides. It is about having the right tools for the job, whether that job is mining, exploring, or just getting from one point to another in style. Beyond mining and business, he has even tried his hand at writing. His books dive into what it takes to make it in the gold industry, sharing everything from the struggles to the wins. He does not sugarcoat it, and that is what makes his story so compelling. Think you've seen it all? Meet the man who took gold mining to a whole new level. The man who tamed the Yukon. Tony Beats, the big shot of the Klondike, isn't just another miner. The guy turned dirt into dollars with sheer grit, stubbornness, and a whole lot of know-how. Living and working in the rough, freezing Alaskan wilderness, he built his empire from the ground up. But just how much cash is he rolling in? What does he make from the television show? And what about all that gold he digs up? To get a real sense of his fortune, let's dig into his background. Born on December 15, 1959 in the Netherlands, he grew up in a world far from the icy Yukon. He wasn't exactly born with a pickaxe in his hand, but he learned the value of hard work young. He worked the family farm, milked cows for cash, and by the time he was a teenager, he was already bossing around men twice his age. When his father got injured, he took charge, stepping into leadership before most kids even knew what work was. By 1980, he was ready for more. Canada was calling, and along with his longtime girlfriend Minnie, he packed up and left. They started off small, working a dairy farm, milking cows, and doing what needed to be done. But he wasn't planning on milking cows forever. He had bigger dreams, ones filled with gold. He kept his ears open and soon heard about gold miners in the Yukon making more money in a week than most people made in a year. He wasn't about to miss out. He hopped on a plane, heading straight for Whitehorse, only to find out he was too early in the season to get work. Instead of giving up, he went back, worked on an oil pipeline for a bit, and then tried again. That second time, he got his chance, and he never looked back. Starting out as just another guy moving dirt, he slowly built up his knowledge and reputation. By the time he struck gold at Eureka Creek in 2018, he pulled out over 3,600 ounces of gold worth millions. But that was just one score. He didn't just want to be a miner. He wanted to run the whole show. He started Tamarack Mine, a family-run business where everyone pulled their weight. His wife, Minnie, handled the books, while their kids, Kevin, Monica, and Mike, worked alongside him, learning the ropes. He didn't just rely on hard work, he was willing to take risks. One of his biggest gambles was the Viking dredge, a massive 350-ton machine designed to pull gold straight from the dirt. It had been sitting around, abandoned for decades. He saw its potential and spent a cool $1 million to bring it back to life. The road to making it work wasn't easy. The dredge sank not once, but twice. Every hour it was down, it was losing over $1,000.
When they sunk the dredge, they sunk it once, it wasn't too big of a deal. Then they sunk the thing twice. I guess they were just...
But he didn't quit, and eventually, the dredge was up and running, pulling in gold from the ground. Despite his success, he never acts like he's got it easy. Gold mining isn't for the weak. His crew grinds through 12 to 14-hour days, 7 months out of the year, in the brutal Yukon weather. Equipment breaks down, the land is unforgiving, and the gold isn't guaranteed. He himself has said that if you make $1 million one year, you better hang on to it, because next year you might not make a dime. His no-nonsense attitude made him one of the most talked-about miners on Discovery Channel's Gold Rush. He joined in a season 2, advising Todd Hoffman, but soon became a fan favorite. His gruff personality and tough-love leadership style made him a standout character. And unlike some of the other miners, he wasn't just doing it for the cameras. He was building an empire. His rivalry with Parker Schnabel is one of the show's biggest storylines. Parker, the young hotshot miner, leases land from him, and let's just say their working relationship is far from smooth. He plays the role of a tough mentor, always pushing Parker to prove himself. Their back and forth keeps fans hooked, adding drama to the already intense world of gold mining. Now let's talk numbers. His net worth is estimated at around $15 million, making him the richest cast member on Gold Rush. That's nearly double what Parker Schnabel is worth. And while he isn't the type to show off, he does have a few luxuries, like his Mercedes convertible, worth around $145,000. But for the most part, his money stays tied up in his mining operations. His land claims are massive. Paradise Hill, his primary mining ground, stretches for 42,000 square meters. He's also got claims at Scribner Creek in Tamarack, plus over 160 claims in various locations. Owning land in the Klondike is a gold miner's dream, and he's got a hefty piece of it. But it's not all smooth sailing. The show made him a household name, but it also brought legal troubles. One season, he got hit with a fine of over $30,000 for an environmental violation after he and his crew set a pond on fire as part of a Viking baptism ritual. Mining already has a big environmental impact, and this stunt didn't sit well with regulators. As for his earnings from Gold Rush, it's tough to say exactly how much he makes per season, but estimates range from $100,000 to $5 million, and that's just from the show. His actual income from mining is where the real money is. Some of the lower-tier cast members make around $10,000 to $20,000 per episode, but he's on a whole different level. But with all this wealth, does he really care about the environmental damage he causes? Let us know in the comments, subscribe and share for more deep dives into controversy.